Om Shanti. Baba has told us to experiment with the power of silence. So, in order to experience this power of silence, we have to understand the different aspects of silence. Silence is not merely the absence of sound. It is not just the absence of thoughts. It is not the absence of something, but it is very much the presence of a very big power. Because silence itself is a very big power. Silence is not peace alone. Silence has peace, purity, love, happiness, bliss, power. Mention any quality, and that can be experienced in silence. So today, I have been told to speak on the blissful silence. They say that when you come into words, that is speech, speech is golden. Speech is silver, they say, but silence is golden. Silence is even higher, more valuable than speech. What speech cannot do, that silence can do. What speech cannot transform, that silence can transform. So much wonders silence can produce. So what is blissful silence? Silence in which you experience inner blissful stage. The word bliss is a very, very special word. You will notice that all other virtues of the soul we speak of, they all have an opposite word too. When we speak about soul being knowledgeful, there is also the opposite of knowledge, ignorance. So the soul experiences ignorance as well as knowledge. And silence in that state of knowledge is also a very great type of silence. Because in that silence, I'm churning a lot of knowledge. I'm churning positive thoughts. And those positive thoughts are helping me to experience the inner power. So Baba sometimes says it is either churning knowledge or churning waste. People churn a lot of waste also. They have many wasteful thoughts. And they keep asking questions, what, why, how, when, all that. But all wastage, because they are not able to get the answers. They just question. It is like churning dirty water, filthy water, which will only contaminate the atmosphere, make it more dirty. But the other is to churn cream, and the result of that will be, there will be butter produced. And butter gives strength. So churning of knowledge will lead to strength. But churning of wasteful thoughts will lead to sorrow and peacelessness. So when Baba gives us the knowledge and we begin to churn that knowledge, then there is an experience of great inner bliss. Because the soul is able to experience so much spiritual wealth. But when one is churning waste thoughts, impure thoughts, there is the feeling of emptiness. Because churning waste thoughts results in emptiness, results in losing all the wealth. So when we speak about blissful silence, it has very many meanings. It is the net result of churning knowledge, churning about purity, peace, love, happiness, and all that culminates to bliss. And the beauty of bliss is that it doesn't have any opposite word. All other words have an opposite word too. Knowledge has an opposite word called ignorance. So it is either churning knowledge or churning ignorance. The other virtue is purity. It is either purity or impurity. So we have the opposites of each word. Opposite of purity is impurity. Opposite of peace is peacelessness. Opposite of love is hatred. Opposite of happiness is sorrow. And all that is based on one's inner churning. That's why they say peace or peacelessness is all in your mind. Happiness or unhappiness is all in your mind. So everything is in the mind. As you think, so you become. If you think a thought about peace, you will become peaceful. But the opposite is also true. If you think about peacelessness, in an instance one can become peaceless. But then it can be one moment peaceful, the next moment peaceless. If I'm having a positive thought about peace, I become peaceful. But if I'm having a negative thought about peacelessness, immediately I become peaceless. So peace or peacelessness, they are just one thought away. But then when we talk about bliss, the word bliss does not have any opposite word. Can anyone think of an opposite word of this word bliss? Yes? Pardon? Depressed. Depressed, I mean, it's not the exact opposite. Depressed is less more like hopelessness. It's more like distressful, yes. But the opposite word of bliss, something totally against bliss. There's no real word. Huh? Yes? Pardon? Speak loudly. What is she saying? Deity. तो जोर से बोलो. Can't hear. Actually, you're saying in your language, Spanish. So any other word opposite of bliss in English? Actually, the word bliss doesn't have any opposite word. Bliss is a very positive experience. There could be no negative experience of it. And the Hindi word used is Anand. That is the Hindi word. And this Anand is such a beautiful word. All the great souls, saints and sages and gurus and sannyasis, when they get a name, a spiritual name, usually that name has Anand at the end of that name. Like Satchitanand, Satyanand, Shivanand, Premanand, Dharmanand, Vivekanand. That means at the end the word is bliss. Satyanand, the bliss achieved through truth. Premanand, the bliss achieved through love. Shantanand, the bliss achieved through peace. Sukhanand also, the bliss achieved through happiness. And ultimately, the highest bliss is Paramanand, the bliss achieved through the union with God, the supreme bliss. There's also the word Atmanand, the bliss the soul experiences through its realization. Atmanand. There is also a very interesting word called Devanand. Devanand was a film actor. But actually that word means the bliss of the deities. Dev means the deities. So even the deities had their own type of bliss. Won't we say that even the deities used to be in a blissful state? So what exactly is bliss? It's the combination, or you can say addition, or plus, of all these qualities of the soul. Knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, all these culminate to bliss. And that blissful stage is the most powerful stage. So knowledge leads to power, definitely. Purity leads to power, definitely. Peace leads to power. Love leads to power. Happiness leads to power. And what if all these are combined? Knowledge plus purity plus peace plus love plus happiness. All that will ultimately become equal to bliss. And plus bliss, knowledge, purity, peace, love, happiness, bliss, will all that equal to power. So that is why we say every soul is an embodiment of these 7 qualities. They are the innate core values of every soul, which cannot be got from outside. They are to be experienced from within. And of course, the basis of all that is knowledge. If the knowledge of the soul isn't there, then all these virtues cannot be experienced. And once the awareness of or knowledge of the soul comes, that I am a soul, then the next is, what type of soul am I? Then the answer is that I am a pure soul. I am a peaceful soul. I am a blissful soul. I am a loveful soul. I am a happy soul. And when I say this to myself, ultimately I will reach the stage of I am a blissful soul. And in that state of bliss, I will experience the true power of the soul. And I'll be able to call myself as a powerful soul. So the power of bliss does not come overnight like that. It does not come without any inner efforts. But it definitely comes through that inner awareness that I am a knowledgeful soul, a pure soul, a peaceful soul, a loveful soul, happy soul, and therefore all that equal to a blissful soul. And when I see myself as a blissful soul, I am a totally quenched soul, a totally contented soul. When these eyes don't fall upon anything, all the worldly attraction ends. The inner attraction begins. The inner filling increases, and the external attractions end. We are seeing in today's world that external attractions are plenty, unlimited. But internally, there is emptiness. And these external influences actually are so shallow, they are not deep. But we get so attracted towards these shallow attractions that we first of all forget the inner tranquility. And then not that we are attracted for long there, because they are so shallow external attractions, then very gradually we get easily bored. For example, any attraction of the eyes, all the 5 senses you will notice, sense of touch, sense of sight, sense of hearing, sense of smelling, sense of taste, all these are the 5 senses. How all these 5 senses, their attraction is very shallow. Because very soon we can get bored. That proves that power is so shallow. You eat something very tasty, it's very tasty, very taste, gives good taste to the palate, the taste buds, they are activated and you say, oh, it's so tasty, so tasty. But then you keep on eating the same thing, day in and day out, every day, morning, afternoon, evening, night. After a few days, what will happen? Oh, I'm bored. What is this? Huh? Whole day just pizza, that's all, nothing else to eat? Huh? So this is the sense of taste. You get bored easily. You want a variety. You want change all the time. Same thing with this vision, with the sight, the sense of sight. You see something that attracts you and you are pulled there, but then if you have it for long, you want to give it up. You don't like it anymore. You see a scene on the television or maybe even otherwise, and you keep looking and looking and looking and looking at it. After some time you get bored. Now I need a change. You don't want the same thing to be there all the time. The same thing goes with music. You hear some music, you say, oh, it's so lovely, what beautiful music. But if it is just appealing to the ears only, and you play it loud because it appeals the ears, but afterwards what will happen? You'll get bored. Enough, I don't want to hear that anymore. Enough, you will shut your ears. The same thing goes with smell. You smell something, you like it. You'll say. But you keep smelling it again and again. Oh, I'm bored. So this is what Baba tells us, that we go beyond the senses and experience the super sensuous joy, which we call as the real bliss. So now, let us go back once again to that blissful silent stage. Experiencing the power of blissful silence. Where the mind is beyond the pull of the senses. The mind is able to become aware of the true state of consciousness, of the self. I am a pure soul. Like a flawless diamond. Radiating the power of purity all around. Purity and peace. Are my true nature. I am in a state of supreme bliss. As I am in the company of my Supreme Father, the ocean of purity and peace. The ever blissful Father. sensual pleasures have only led to the sorrow of the soul. I now go beyond the sensual pleasures and begin to experience the true inner bliss. The bliss coming from my own realization of my true self. And the realization of being in the company of the Father. The realization of making God my true companion. Being hand in hand with the Father, the teacher, the Satguru. Sweetest Baba, in your company, I experience absolute bliss. I visualize myself as a blissful angel, radiating rays of peace, love, and happiness to all. Under the canopy of protection of the Father, I visualize myself becoming a canopy for unlimited souls. Helping them to dispel their sorrow and suffering. The heart of an angel is unlimited. Giving way to so many souls. Who have love for the Father. But they are so thirsty for even a drop of God's love. Let me bestow upon them this attainment of love from the Father. Serving other souls leads to being blessed by them and thereby becoming a blissful soul. In order to be blessed, I need to keep on serving. I have to serve altruistically. I have to only give whatever I have received from the Father. I give it as an instrument, as nothing belongs to me. I'm so light and detached. I visualize myself in a blissful state in the subtle regions. In a world of silvery light, the angelic world. Where I am in the company of Avyakt Vapdada. In the angelic form. I also am in my angelic form. The form of light and might. I have surrendered myself to the Father. Everything of mine belongs to Baba. The Father then transforms it, purifies it, empowers it, and returns many multi-million fold more. With so much return, I get back what I give. How merciful is my beloved Father. I have no words to thank my beloved Father, Supreme Father, the ever truthful Father, the liberator and the guide Father.